The Betrayal Unfolds. The city had its secrets, hidden behind high-rise offices and quiet suburban homes were stories that never made it to the news, stories of deception, greed, and power plays that crushed the unsuspecting. For Donald, life had always been about hard work. He never asked for much, only fairness. But fairness was a rare currency in a world run by those who knew how to manipulate the system. Donald had been breadcrumbed, strung along with false promises, small rewards, and just enough hope to keep his pushing forward. Meanwhile, behind his back, thieves were making fortunes off his sweat. The ones who played you are about to pay. It started with whispers. At first, Donald ignored them. Office gossip, street talk, none of it mattered. He had bills to pay, a family to take care of, and work to do. But then, things started to shift. A coworker, normally smug and overconfident, was suddenly nervous. His bank statements weren't adding up. An old friend he hadn't heard from in years sent his a cryptic text. "Check your paychecks. Look deeper." Donald followed the trail. And what he found shook his to the core. They had been stealing from his, not just a few dollars highs and buys. No, they had rerouted entire payments meant for his. A manager, 2 executives, and even a bank employee had been part of a scheme using his name, his credentials, his work to funnel money into their own accounts. They dined in luxury while he stretched every dollar. They took vacations while he barely got a weekend off. They smiled in his face while robbing his blind. And now, their time was up. The evidence that changed everything. Someone had been watching. An investigator, someone Donald didn't even know, had been tracking all of it. Receipts, transfers, forged documents. Enough proof to take them down, one by one. The guilty parties were called in. The manager, found guilty of payroll fraud. The executives, embezzlement charges pending. The bank employee, arrested for laundering stolen funds. Donald stood outside the courthouse, watching the ones who had underestimated his get dragged into police cars. Funny how life worked. They had left his with scraps, convinced she'd never fight back. But now, they were the ones losing everything. Karma comes right on time. Donald didn't seek revenge. He never had to. Karma had perfect timing. All he did was keep working, keep pushing, keep believing. And in return, the truth came out, justice was served, and he was finally free. The same people who had laughed at his struggle. They were now the ones behind bars. And as Donald walked away, his head held high, he knew one thing for sure. No one who plays dirty ever wins in the end.